You're watching Fugitive Red Eye, and welcome to another Random Thoughts that is also a rant. That's right, another Random Thoughts. In today's episode, I wanted to talk about cartoon YouTubers. Now, I obviously just reviewed Ren and Stimpy Adult Party cartoon, so that's probably part of the reason that this kind of thing is on my mind. But obviously I've done responses to cartoon YouTubers before, Phantom Strider namely being the most prominent one that I've responded to. But there's something I notice with a lot of cartoon YouTubers. Now, I will get into some that I don't think fit this mold later on, but there is a problem I have with a lot of them, because a lot of them are kind of the same. So first off, they all kind of have the same opinion. For instance, most of them don't like mean-spirited humor. I did a whole Random Thoughts about this before, so I'm not going to go into depth on it, but, yeah, that's a big thing, is anytime there's anything mean-spirited, they immediately have to say that it's, like, the worst thing ever. And it's not just with mean-spirited stuff, it's also with stuff that's, like, kind of offensive and over the top. They'll be like, they have to act more offended than they actually are, or that anyone would actually be. There's a level that they always have, where they act like they're super offended by everything. It's like, oh no, this is gory, oh no, this is sexualized, oh no, this is offensive and racist, and all this other shit. And, they act like they care so much about what these cartoons do, because obviously that's what gets them the clicks, is that outrage. What actually sparked me to make this video is I watched a couple of Mr. Enter videos. I don't really watch Mr. Enter, I've never liked his content, and watching the videos that I watched of his today made me realize, yeah, I definitely don't like his content. It's just the same as every other generic, cartoon YouTuber. But, Phantom Strider's much the same way. I mean, at least Phantom Strider kind of moved away from that a lot. Like, he does, like, food stuff now, I think. And Phantom Strider's always been, like, really cool with criticism, even though he always does kind of have a generic thing. But that brings me to another thing with cartoon YouTubers. Most of them always come out and say, oh, this is just my opinion, make sure that you understand this is my opinion. Hey, this video I'm making, it's just my opinion. It's like, I fucking get it. I wasn't going in expecting you to be telling me objective qualities of this shit. I wasn't going in expecting fucking, like, really well thought out critiques and, like, literary analysis of these fucking cartoons. I know it's your fucking opinion, but they always have to feel like they have to have this flowery language, like, oh, but, if you don't like it, hey, good for you, I respect your opinion. And it's funny, because I used to praise this kind of thing back when I was kind of a faggot and wouldn't fucking just, be open and real with people. Back when I was trying to be nice, and that's part of the problem. Is they're just like, oh yeah, it's okay if you like this. It's like, okay, cool, that just kind of goes without saying. At the end of the day, if someone likes a stupid cartoon, that's not the end of the world. Just because somebody likes something bad doesn't mean fuck all. So the fact that you feel the need to fucking preface everything like this, it creates this weird culture of fucking commenters, and there's these fucking autismos on YouTube that start their own little sub-communities that hear all these cartoon YouTubers saying this shit, and then they come up with these terms like opinion bashing. This is something I see all the time with autistic collectors and reviewers on YouTube. They'll say that they hate opinion bashing, and they'll say that they need you to, not, like, it's okay if you don't agree with them as long as you don't bash their opinion. And that's fucking stupid. If you have a bad opinion, of course I'm gonna fucking bash it. Just as I expect you to bash mine. That's how opinions are. You can have an opinion that I disagree with, but I can have that disagreement, too. Like, my opinion on your opinion is just as valid as your opinion itself. So I don't give a shit if you don't like me bashing your opinion. If you don't want to hear my opinion on your opinion, don't fucking share your opinion with me. I think that's the most times I've ever said the word opinion in a single fucking sentence. But, like, they'll go, oh, opinion respected. It's like, I think it's cool that you can, be like, yeah, I don't judge you for this. But at the end of the day, I think that should just kind of be implied, because at the end of the day, if someone likes a bad show, that doesn't fucking matter. And, if it's a really bad take, maybe they deserve to get made fun of a little bit. That's not the end of the world either. It's not like you're going and actively harming them. Just a little bit of fucking ribbing isn't a big deal. You want to fucking insult someone, insult someone. Insult me, I don't give a shit. People do it all the time. But another problem I have with it is these cartoon YouTubers will also start these bandwagons. For instance, Ren and Stimpy Adult Party cartoon. There was a pretty good consensus that Ren Seeks Help was the best episode of the series, prior to YouTube reviewers getting a hold of it. Once YouTube reviewers got a hold of it, they all said it was the worst episode. And because some of them said that, a lot of them, who clearly didn't even fucking watch the show, said that was the worst one. There's definitely worse episodes. First off, that's obviously the best one, and I do like that show. But even though I like that show, I can acknowledge that none of the other episodes are anywhere close to as good as Ren Seeks Help. So it's funny to me that that became, like, the poster child for, like, the worst one, and that's because of this bandwagon. That tends to happen, and it's not just cartoon YouTubers, it happens with anime YouTubers, too, right? Like, people say they hate Dragon Ball GT, and then that becomes this whole big bandwagon. I literally talked to this guy who had his own little obscure anime store, and we were talking about, I brought up Dragon Ball GT, and he said it was so bad. And I'm like, well, have you actually seen it? And he said, well, no, because it's bad. And I'm like, so you haven't even fucking seen it. You insist DBZ is the best one, but you haven't even fucking seen GT, and you're just so sure that it's bad because everybody says it is. Like, people don't have genuine opinions. They have safe opinions. Ah, yes, I agree that unpopular thing is bad. Oh, yes, I agree that popular thing is good. Very fucking stunning and brave of you. Do you want a fucking medal? But yeah, watching Mr. Enter, like, there were so many times that he said he was, like, genuinely offended and he found all this stuff horrible, and I'm like, Jesus Christ, dude, are you that much of a fucking weenie? Like, I have nothing against Enter as a person, but Jesus Christ, is he a fucking terrible content creator. And, to be fair, that's not even a hot take. I think a lot of people don't like Mr. Enter. But another problem I have with a lot of cartoon YouTubers is the very normie, safe, fucking political views they have. Like, if they ever express political views, it's very safe, tame, centrist, sometimes mild leftist, sometimes outright leftist, although really not that often. A lot of the time it's very, like, tame. Like, they'll say leftist shit that they don't realize is leftist shit, and then talk about how they don't like either side, and how they don't like to pick a side, and how they're not political, and this and that. And that's the problem I have, is that none of them want to take a stance on anything, but still feel the need to fucking talk about it. It's like, either take a stance, or shut the fuck up. Like, I'm not saying you don't have a right to fucking spout all this fucking centrist bullshit, but Jesus Christ, like, all of them have the same generic normie opinions. And, again, it's not just cartoon YouTubers. You know, there's commentary YouTubers, too, like Mudahar, Critical, and a lot of these others that have the same fucking normie, generic, safe opinions and will never express anything too controversial. It's always gotta be, like, the safest, most basic bitch shit, centrist, toe the middle line. Don't go too far over the fence. If you are, go a little bit to the left. Make sure you don't go to the right, though. That's bad. And if you do go to the right, make sure it's the tamest, most basic bitch normie shit you can find. Like, obviously, I didn't used to get, like, super political on the channel for a while. But I'm pretty openly right-wing, and I've been a lot more vocal about it in recent years, obviously, because I just get sick of the fake fucking plastic personas that everyone puts on where they pretend they can't fucking have a strong opinion on anything. I mean, the inverse is also true, where you get all of these people that say, and this isn't cartoon YouTubers, this is a little bit of a tangent, but you get all these people that have an opinion on fucking everything, like all of these fucking conflicts and things in other countries that have nothing to do with us, and you have to have, like, a strong opinion on it when it's like, how is this relevant to us? But again, that's a tangent. Let's get back on track a little bit. But yeah, like, you hear all these people that, like, will get, like, they say, oh, I don't want to get political. Oh, but I'm offended at this. Oh, look, can they really be this homophobic? Can they be this transphobic? All of these made-up phobias that were made up 5 minutes ago, you can go fuck yourself. Like, legitimately, if you think that you're part of some big cause because you want to fucking side with people who are fucking insane, cool, good on ya. But why do you have to act so fucking offended on everybody's behalf? Like, at the end of the day, if a shitty cartoon gets made, does it really hurt you so much that you have to actually say you're offended? Like, don't get me wrong, there's things that piss me off about cartoons, like, whenever shows have, like, that generic leftist bullshit fucking take and start spreading shit that I think is actually harmful to the culture, it bothers me. But I don't go out of my way to be like, oh, I'm offended, I'm offended, they shouldn't be allowed to do this is obscene. And there's so many people that do this when a show even gets slightly offensive or does something slightly out there. And it's funny, because you'll hear people that call themselves, like, Christian or conservative, but then they'll still fucking defend these fucking, like, fucking tranny causes and be like, oh, don't be transphobic now. Oh, don't be biphobic. Don't be gayphobic. Oh, don't be this phobic. Don't be this ist. It's like, fuck off. Just fuck right off. Now, I'm not saying that I can't handle fucking channels that I disagree with on a political scale. There's plenty of channels that in fact, there's no one that I agree with fully, and I think that's just the nature of humanity. Like, if you're genuinely talking about real opinions, you're not going to agree with anyone on everything, because that'd be ridiculous. That's just not going to happen. But anyway, I think you get the point on that point. There's another point I want to make about cartoon YouTubers, is a lot of them will fucking hate watch shit. Like, they'll watch all of these shows officially, and they'll give them money and support to watch them, and so then these shows keep getting made. The more attention you give to this trash, the more attention it's gonna get, the more it's gonna get made. Like, this should be pretty basic. Like, I mean, granted, there's an argument you can make that if someone is reviewing it, that means that more people don't have to watch it, and there is some truth to that. But at the end of the day, I do think there gets to a point where rage bait cartoons are made just to make people pissed off enough to hate watch it so they can review it. While that may not be profitable on a larger scale, that is a niche that they can find to cater to and keep making their fucking content and making at least a decent profit on it. Now, I mentioned that there were cartoon YouTubers that I like that don't fall into these tropes. And, you know, there's still things that I don't like or things that I disagree with these people on, because that's always going to happen no matter what. But one of the best cartoon YouTubers is Shady Do-Rags. Fucking love Shady Do-Rags. He makes great fucking videos on King of the Hill. Love his content. I also really like The Real Jims and his Simpsons videos. I really like that content. And the thing is, I'm sure I disagree with The Real Jims a lot more politically than because he's not overtly political, but some of the statements he's made has told me that he and I would absolutely not see eye to eye on a lot of things, but I love his Simpsons-related content. So I still say, Real Jims, genuinely great cartoon channel. Like, granted, his niche is The Simpsons, but it's still a cartoon, right? It's a cartoon channel, it's just he has a niche. And Shady Do-Rags does a lot of different cartoons, but his King of the Hill videos are easily his best. Another channel, which it's funny that I forgot to mention this one, because this channel was one of the things that made me start thinking about watching the Adult Party cartoon again, is Media Mementos. I really like Media Mementos. He does a lot of good content. He does actually fall into some of these tropes. However, he's fairly reasonable and actually has pretty fucking good content. I don't like absolutely everything he does, but he, at the very least, agrees that Ren Seeks Help is the best Adult Party cartoon episode, even if I disagree with the entirety of the rest of his take on Adult Party cartoon. Media Mementos, good cartoon channel. I've also been watching SpongeBob, but he does have a lot of those tropes, although I've enjoyed his content. But he also doesn't like mean-spirited stuff and really hates Squidward torture episodes, but I've enjoyed watching SpongeBob's content a lot more. It's just Awe is the name of the channel, AWE, but he's typically referred to as SpongeBob. Genuinely, I like his SpongeBob content, even though he does fall into these tropes. So, he does do a lot of the whole, this is mean-spirited and gets offended and shit like that. But I do like that he gives credit to some of the bad SpongeBob seasons, like seasons 6 through 8. Like, he talks about how those actually aren't the dark age that people think it is and stuff like that. So there is something to be said about that, where I give him credit, too. But, so, you know, I'm sure there's other good cartoon channels out there, but really the two that I think of the most are Shady Do-Rags and The Real Jims. I have watched a little bit of The Simpsons Theory as well. Oh! Dark Simpsons and Sour Simpsons. Great channels. Fucking love those. Again, they're specifically Simpsons, but Dark Simpsons and Sour Simpsons are both fucking great. Like, Dark Simpsons is, like, edits and, like, they're, like, sort of making their own fan stories out of, like, Simpsons clips. It's kind of like a really, really advanced type of YouTube poop. But Sour Simpsons, he actually does, like, theory videos and shit, but, I mean, they're ridiculous, but that's also what kind of makes them fun. Sour Simpsons is effectively the insane cousin of Real Jims. Like, he's not his cousin as a person. I'm just saying, as far as the channel, it's a similar enough channel with the type of content, just much more insane and outlandish. But anyway, like I said, there are good cartoon channels out there, but a lot of the generic ones you get, there's like Phantom Strider, Saber Spark, Mr. Enter, like, all of them have, like, the same fucking opinions and do the same fucking content. Like, it drives me nuts just how similar all of these fucking cartoon channels are. And none of them really have real opinions. It's always just, like, the safe, generic opinion. Like, I'll admit, like, Saber Spark, it is kind of cool that he delves into obscure shit that you typically wouldn't hear of. But nevertheless, he's just the same as Phantom Strider. Like, it's just the same fucking content. And I'm sick of seeing it. Another trope I forgot to mention is a lot of them also have these really long, annoying clips they play in their top 10 videos. Like Phantom Strider will play the same clip before each entry, and Mr. Enter will play the same clip, and a lot of the times they're actually kind of long clips that are kind of fucking obnoxious. Phantom Strider I actually think did a better job at it than Mr. Enter, because watching Mr. Enter's, it got really fucking annoying, and I had to fast forward to actually bear some of it a couple of times. So it's a small one, but I forgot to mention that trope. Anyway, I've rambled on enough, I think. I hope you enjoyed. Have a good one. Toodles.
You take forever to say nothing.
Subscribe, defeat it to Red Eye.